Oh, hey, you're up. Oh, hey, you're up.
Pick a fine pajama or what?
Oh, hey, you're up.
You're
Oh,
gonna
hey,
die.
you're up.
Again
Pick a fine
and
pajama or
again
what?
Oh, hey,
and
you're up.
again.
Oh, hey, you're up.
Pick a fine pajama or what?
Oh, hey, you're up. Oh, hey, you're up.
Who's Bill Murray?
Oh, hey, you're up. I'm not sure if you remember my name or not. You were pretty wasted last night. I'm Bubbawheat, and you're listening to my podcast, It's Time to Rewind, where we are in the death days of autumn, covering the Happy Death Day movies one loop at a time. Today, we're discussing the seventh loop in the first Happy Death Day movie. It starts at 43 minutes and 40 seconds, with Tree waking up angrily frustrated and screaming into the pillow, and ends at 44 minutes and 51 seconds, with Tree getting hit by a baseball bat and falling into bed. Joining me for the third and final time today is the Vern from Cinema Recall. How are you doing?
Back again. Uh, Starting this time loop again. I mean, I'm happy to see you, bud, but gosh, it's over and over again. Although this is probably one of my favorite time loops right there. So I'm very happy to talk about this sequence with you. All right, for many
Yeah, I
obvious
think it's funny
reasons.
when, yeah, whenever I don't remember if I think you mentioned to me that you were interested, and then whenever I asked you which loop you wanted to be on, you said the one where she's naked.
Yes, 100%. That's right. Because I'm a simple guy with simple pleasures that he likes there. So yes, totally. Because this is gonna be. I know we mentioned in other episodes. I've seen Jessica Roth and other movies, but this was the first movie that I saw her in, and I always thought that it was interesting because they did not really put a lot of big name actors in this movie. And this is like
Mhm.
a major production. It's a Universal Studios picture, Blumhouse production. So this is a big, huge movie. It was released wide. I remember seeing trailers for this, and I'm thinking, well, who are these cast members? Because I do not recognize really anyone, and I thought it was really great that they did not cast a big name star because she, Jessica, looks and acts very much like this entitled, snobby, elitist type of girl. And throughout these actions and these each day, these times are repeated, you get to know more about her, and she is a fully fleshed out, real human being with fears, and she wants to be a good person. And you find out later on too about her relationship with her parents and why she's acting this way before these time loops started happening. And I
Mhm.
thought that was a really great thing. I don't know what you thought about Jessica's performance in this.
Yeah, I think she does a great job as the lead. You know, she really conveys the entire range of emotions. You know, from the drunken party girl at the beginning to a more mature college student by the end.
Yeah, very, very much so. But we're still getting to the whole her knowing her godlike powers during these
Yeah,
last couple moments in this one. Especially this the first moment right there where she walks out into the courtroom or the courtyard just completely nude.
mhm.
No
Yeah,
care in the
and I
world.
love this, but yeah, but before that, yeah, we get another wake up moment, and I
Yes.
like the nice ebb and flow with these resets because you know, in this montage, like going back to the beginning, it had the escalation with her getting more and more upset and freaked out each reset, and then we start to the montage, and then it kind of drops back down with her being nonchalant because she's in control of it and now just, just 2 or 3 loops later, she's getting frustrated and angry at it. Like she is annoyed more than, she was terrified in the beginning, and now she's circled back around and she's annoyed and angry. It's like,
Y-
"Oh my god, I have to do this again."
Just let me get out of my life there. I'm sick with this.
Mhm.
uh, Streams to the pillow. Did you know? Was there anything remotely different during this wake up sequence? I just saw her scream into the pillow, and then it kind of cuts to where she's back in the courtyard area.
I
But
mean, first we get just a quick insert shot, which I've written notes about it, but I haven't actually brought it up, in until now. But this notebook, the suspect list, and I think it's interesting because you can kind of tell that this is the exact same um, list. They filmed it once, and they keep cutting back to it because of the way that it looks. There's not like subtle differences in the handwriting because, Tree is not repeating the exact same motions every time. Tree is the one difference in each time loop. But
yeah,
this suspect list that they keep cutting back to, where she starts off with writing Nick and then, angrily crossing, fully crossing that off the list. And then she went with Tim for number two, then Stephanie number three, number four, Danielle, and then number five that's she is supposed to be going after this time is Gregory.
okay, which is weird 'cause on that notebook, the name Gregory is not focused, or I mean, you see like part of the word Gregory, but
Mhm.
not the whole thing. So it's really hard to. Because I honestly thought that the person that she, I thought she was going after a different sorority sister. I don't
Mhm.
know for sure, but
Well, I
now
mean,
that you,
she ends up hitting Becky. So,
she does. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
makes
But
sense.
yeah, we get this, this very confidence and again, this kind of ties into the music in the background. The
Oh, the
the
confident
Demi
track,
Lovato. Yeah. And
the
she
Demi
is
Lovato.
just yeah, Demi Lovato she's just strutting through and this kind of turn, I've talked about this like the walk of shame slash walk of time loop markers or the time loop marker walk of shame is what I had been kind of calling this courtyard walk. And I feel like this kind of it's her turning into a walk of pride. She
Yeah,
is proudly strutting through these time loop markers and we're getting like the hipster goth and I love that the activist drops her clipboard and then she goes and gives like the finger guns to the the sprinkler couple.
yeah. Well, and also this part of the moment too where she knows she's in this time loop thing, so she doesn't care what happens. It's
Mhm.
not so much her being a boss and confident, what she is feeling, but also at the same time too, she knows that she's stuck in this whole thing, so it doesn't matter. She doesn't care. She doesn't even really care about herself really at this moment. She's just doing this because no one's gonna remember this anyway. So why
Mhm.
not just drown here naked? You know, doesn't really matter anymore.
Maybe it
I
was
just
like a bucket list or, something that she always wanted to do,
yeah, like
but feared the consequences. And, this is the perfect time to do it because there are going to be no consequences, at least no permanent consequences.
exactly no permanent consequences. It's like that scene in Groundhog's Day where Bill Murray can eat all that food. There'd
Mhm.
be no consequences for her. She just wants to be naked. She wants to be an exhibitionist, and honey, I applaud you. All right, you know, you're 2019. Yeah, do your thing, girl. Do your thing. All right.
And I will say that this specific loop, I mean, it's only like just over a minute long, but this has two of the high points in this movie, but it also has kind of the low point in this movie for me. Like the first thing is I don't understand why she thinks Gregory is going to be walking through this because this we see like the construction lights around, which that kind of goes back to the first loop whenever she saw the music box in the middle of the tunnel that also had all uh, the construction lights and like the barriers, like the construction barriers with the flashing lights. And I don't understand why she thinks that Gregory would be going through here at this time of
Yeah.
night.
Doesn't she visit him at his office? Because when each day resets, she always goes back to her sorority home, and
Mhm.
then she goes to class to meet up with Gregory. Why doesn't she do that to try to date him or whatnot? Why is she waiting late at night? She did the same thing too. For Stephanie, his wife, she's waiting to find these people at nighttime and bad things happen. Why don't you just try and get them during the daytime? Tree,
I mean,
huh?
because she gets killed at night, and she's, like, trying to
Well,
catch them in the act. So she
oh,
has
she's
to
trying to catch them in the act of it. Oh, okay. That does make sense. But if I'm keep resetting my days, I know who the killer is. I want to try to catch them during the daytime because I like to sleep at night. All right. I want to know who my killer is right away. Get that shit done so I can fall asleep at night and not have to worry about babyface killers uh killing me. I have to mention one quick thing too before we do talk about the death during that nude sequence, since this is a PG-13 movie, I saw how they framed her being naked. You know that she's
Mhm.
walking around naked without really showing much. I thought that was a great thing how they edited that and had the camera be at certain angles so you
Yeah,
can see
I
her
think you
naked
can
body.
tell. Yeah, I think it works well, and just how Jessica Roth plays it, like, you can
Yeah,
tell even though it starts out just being Head and Shoulders, I think you can tell that she's naked even just from the Head and Shoulders shot, just from the people's reactions, and then we get, again,
yeah,
the kind of back shots kind of showing us, but still in the PG-13 way where, it goes from, like, just above the crack of her ass
yeah.
to the top of her head, very, very PG-13 framing.
And with the use of that music being used too, I thought that was absolutely great. See, this is how like PG-13 can be used to its advantages in
Mhm.
ways where it can show you things and not show you things, and you let your mind fill in the blanks of that. I really enjoy that. So, but oh,
Yeah, and then, jumping back to her hitting Becky over the head with the baseball bat, I feel like this is kind of the low point for me because I feel like Becky doesn't deserve this. So, like, it and the thing that
what
I'm
she didn't
specifically
know?
talking about is that I mean, Becky is a character because we see that she has a dozen donuts, and so she gets hit, and she has donuts laying around the ground around her. And this is like the second time that Becky is being kind of subtly fat shamed because first time she gets called out for having the chocolate milk, and now she's getting a dozen donuts at night, which, if you're getting donuts at night, I think the implication is that she was getting them for herself to eat. Like she's binging a dozen donuts by herself because you don't buy donuts for people at nights. I guess maybe unless you're going to an AA meeting,
Well,
at night.
we don't know. I mean, she could be feeding homeless people around her area. I'm sure there are other members of her sorority that also have a sugar fix as well, and I'm sure she's probably bringing it to them. Plus,
Well, most of
it
the sorority people are going to be at Tree's surprise party.
that's okay. That's true. Or maybe she's just grabbing breakfast for the rest of the week. I mean, there's probably a good deal on those dozen donuts, and she needs to have breakfast each day of the week. So she's like, "I'm gonna buy all my donuts at once." All right, and I don't. Was she supposed to be considered to be the overweight one? Because she seemed to be in good shape to me. I don't. Did people fat shame
Yeah, I mean
her? I don't
that's
know.
well, I mean just the whole chocolate, calling her out for drinking chocolate milk. It's the subtle fat shaming.
Oh, that they give her.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, shoot. I mean, she's almost like she gets any more skinnier. She's probably gonna be anorexic. So, Becky, you are in great shape. You don't need to lose a pound. All right, you are just absolutely perfect the way you are. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, personally, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with her weight, but, in terms of sorority culture and how
oh,
she's
sorry, girl
presented in
culture.
the movie, I feel like there's
Oh,
there's this element of, she is sorority girl fat.
sorry. Oh, sorry, girl fat. Okay, fair, fair enough. Still, it's
which I think in normal terms is like 160 pounds.
okay. Oh, jeez. Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Watch
no.
yourself there, Becky. Oh, jeez. Ah, shame. But yeah, you're right. It's weird to have her waiting around this place, waiting for Christopher to suddenly just show up, or sorry, Gregory to show up out of nowhere.
Mm.
It's just because has she seen him cross there before? Is that why? Like, and the first
Yeah,
time that
I
we
don't know.
see
I mean, it goes by
Gregory,
so quick.
oh, it does. Okay, so yeah, it's been there. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then and then it goes back to a high point because again, I love this with this slasher movie, and it works well as being kind of a slasher and also a bit of a send up of a slasher with Tree freaking out about Becky. It's like, oh Becky, I'm so sorry, and then in the background you see the babyface killer picking up the baseball bat, and I also love that the tree just has this moment of kind of she senses somebody behind her, and so she stands up, but whenever she turns around, that's whenever the killer's ready, and they just go straight into the baseball bat to the temple. And again, it is bloodless, but we do get the good sound effect crunch. And I love this transition shot.
yes, I'm glad you brought this up, Bubbawheat. I wrote down the name of the cinematographer, Toby Oliver, and he's the same guy who shot Get Out and one of the last Insidious movies. But yeah, just the way that the background fades from being outside to being back in that dorm room of Carter was really, really good. Um,
Yeah, the camera follows, we see,
oh,
it's a head-on shot of Tree looking pretty much at the camera, basically, but, not quite down the barrel, but, she gets hit with the baseball bat, and, like a tree, she kind of, falls down to the side, and the camera stays with her, so the camera rotates as she is rotating as she falls, uh, on her side, and then, like you said, the background dissolves from the trees and the outdoor background back into Carter's bedroom, and as she falls, she ends up falling on the bed instead of on the ground, and I also love the sound design too, where the moment her head hits the pillow, that's where we get the first chime of the clock tower that we've heard every
Yeah,
loop.
that is true. What I greatly appreciate about all these sequences in this, because uh, Toby Oliver, he shoots night sequences where you can actually see everything. I'm getting so sick and tired of watching horror films that are set at night where you cannot actually see the action that is going on. It seems like horror films have to put everything in pitch black darkness to achieve suspense and scares. And I like it very much, even though this is a horror comedy in ways, I do like very much that when night scenes happen, there is a good source of light where you can actually see the actions going on there. And Toby Oliver, he also did Maiden 2.0, and I'm looking on here too, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. If you've seen those other movies, there is a good sense of Leighton that have happened in those movies as well.
Yeah, I think you know, the scene, in the construction area, I think it works well because we do have these flashing yellow lights that I talked about in the first loop. But
Yeah,
especially like the way that they're flashing, they're timed so that there's always like one lit, like it kind of alternates between two on either side, so we get this like kind of slow strobe effect. But it's, like,
exactly.
always lit because it goes from being lit on the right side to being lit on the left side back and forth.
Yeah, very much so. Uh, and yeah, there's that comic element too, where it's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I hit you, Becky. I'm so sorry." Then she looks up and like, "Oh, crap!
Mhm.
I'm being killed again." You know, uh, almost felt there should be like a laugh track going on in this sometimes. Yeah. Oh.
And then, that kinda ends this montage. Um, Is there anything else that you wanted to say about this loop, this montage, or about the movie as a whole?
As a movie as a whole, very fun. I watch it. It's a fun comedy horror film, but it has some good heart to it. I know you're going to be talking
Mhm.
about those loops later on, but there's a scene that happens with her dad that whenever I watch it, it does bring me to tears. No matter how many times I've seen the movie, there's a connection that goes on between them that I'm like, oh wow, horror comedy. You're actually got some heart and some warmth. I'm like, I'm feeling things from these characters. So yeah, very fun movie. I love the fact too that overall this movie is like a little bit over 90 minutes. Not even that much.
Mhm.
It's very well paced. The actors all do a great job. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's, especially in the first movie, I think that they paced the loops very well. So
Yes.
I think,
Well,
practically none of them are more than, like, 15 minutes long. I know in the second movie, there is, like, one extra long loop towards the end where it's, like, a full half hour. But
okay.
in this movie, they're paced pretty well. It's like, we get 10 to 15-minute loops, and then we get, like, a 5-minute loop that goes into the montage, and then, we have them kinda paced out again after this.
They use the same time loop formula in that movie Until Dawn, but they don't use it good as they do in this one. So I just want to make a quick comment about Until Dawn that I saw recently, which also does a whole time loop with horror, but they don't follow the same rules in that one. Like each time loop is different, so it's not really a time loop movie if each time loop is different. I don't know. Hard to explain. That's another thing for another story right there. But Happy Death Day, just way too fun.
Alright, well, thank you so much for joining me these past 3 weeks. I
Well,
love a good montage. It's kind of like my favorite part of these seasons is doing these little montage series of episodes. They're nice, short, but, tend to be a lot of fun.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and happy to be here. If you ever need me back for another montage, it's difficult to find things to talk about, like little 20-second clips, but I'm glad we actually had a full episode about this.
Yeah, absolutely. One last time, why don't you take a moment and let people know where else you can be found online?
Sure. Well, you can find me over on rabbitholepodcast.com. I have a podcast with my good buddy Donnie Roberts called The Rotten Truth, where Donnie and I discuss movies that got low ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. First season is with me and Jason Soto. Second season, me and Donnie. We have episodes talking about Howard the Duck, 1941. Recently, we've done episodes on the new Psycho, the Gus Van Sant, Vincent Vaughn Psycho, as well as Exorcist Believer. And my other podcast is Cinema Recall, cinemarecall.net. We actually do a whole bunch of different types of like podcasts. On our website, I just posted a review about one battle after another. So check that out on the website and listen to our podcast. Thank you.
Alright, and as always, I'm Bubbawheat. You can find me on social media everywhere where I'm at Bubbawheat. I am most active these days on Threads. That's the best place to find me to see what I'm doing. We also have a Facebook group. It's Time to Rewind, a time loop group, and you can join that to talk about episodes and other time loops. We'd also appreciate it, if you are listening to this show and you enjoy it on whatever podcatcher you're listening to, if you give us a 5-star rating and a review. If your podcatcher has reviews, we'd really appreciate that. Help us, find more new listeners and help spread the reach of this show. And it's a lot of fun to do, and I love seeing hearing people that enjoy it. So till next time.